Okay guys, welcome back to my channel at Eka Oktavianingsih. Today it is a special day because I will discuss with a beautiful and energetic woman from Denmark. She is a teacher and today we will discuss about the implementation of preschool in Denmark, and I think that you, especially the student of early childhood education, need information about the real implementation of preschool in Denmark. So, if you want to know more about the implementation of preschool in Denmark, keep on watching, guys. Okay, please say hello to Mrs. Jette Hansen.
Yes. That's
hello.
Right. Hello.
How are you today?
I'm good.
How about your holiday in Bandung, Sunday?
It's a beautiful holiday that will end very soon because I have to go back to Jogja and then go to Papua. I will go to Papua tonight.
And don't forget to take a picture in Kraton.
I will stop in Kraton on the way, and I've read about a little bookshop in Gang 1 that has English books.
Wow.
I need a new book. I'm out of books. Yes.
Sounds good. Okay, there are many questions, about 10 questions maybe, so I will start from the first question. When children in Denmark begin to enroll for early childhood education?
Actually, we say school starts when the children are 6 years old. But almost all children in Denmark go to preschool, and they enroll when they are 9 months, a year old. They go to preschool. It's not school. They play. They learn little things. They learn songs. They maybe learn a little bit about numbers, counting, and learn the alphabet. Even a little bit of English sometimes. But reading, playing. But that's preschool. And because all women in Denmark work, it's going to work. So it's taking care of the children, but it's also learning. And then they start school at 6, real school. And they go to school until they're 16. And it's by law mandatory for children to go to school in Denmark from the year 6. Have to. And if somebody doesn't go to school, the government come knock at the door, say you have to come to school. It's by law. And Denmark is so regulated, so we know everybody by a name and a number. Everybody is listed and accounted for, so we know. So you cannot be in Denmark as a child and not go to school. It's not possible.
I have heard that in Denmark the level of corruption is very low. Is there a relation between the educational system with the level of corruption in Denmark?
I think yes. I think yes, you're right in a way that the level of education is quite high. That's one thing. But I think the main reason for corruption is low is that people in government, police, teachers, nurses, doctors, they're actually earning quite a good salary. So they're getting a good salary, so they don't need the corruption. That's one thing. And also the other thing is that everything, as I said, everything is accounted for. We know everything, so you cannot take a bribery without your department knowing. It will come out. So, and the fines are bad, and it's bad for your career, and you will get fired, and you will not get another job. So it's actually the consequences are quite high, but the salary is quite high as well. So you don't really need
to corruption.
You don't need the money for corruption as a teacher or as a policeman, because you're actually paid quite well as a policeman. And that's, I mean, I don't really know so much about it, but that's the general understanding.
How about the character building? I think that work in preschool, character building like honesty or I think responsibility.
I think actually all the way through preschool, but also from the children are 1 to 3 years old. I mean, very young children. They're working with values, personal values, as in generosity, giving, helping, being a good friend, sharing, so that when you are in school you bring something and share with it. I mean, just that's a very, they're working even with very young children. They work with, values of a person. Sometimes it's working out really well, and sometimes, of course, it's not. Sometimes, they're not doing a good job, and the children come out with bad values and doing all sorts of stupid things. But the idea is that it's something that you can learn as a very young child, giving, sharing, yeah.
For the next question, what are the principles of early childhood education in Denmark?
The principles, I think Denmark, the school system in Denmark is, how can I say, as a teacher we say, the children doesn't have to know things by heart. There's no value of just learning things by heart, just repeating something else. They have to think about it and come up with their own ideas. That's
construct their idea.
Yes, even as a 6-7 years old, they would say, "What do you see in this garden? What is your impression of it? How can you tell somebody about it? Can you use another word? Would you know some of the words in English? Can you count the trees? Do you think there's more trees here than..." Just not learning things by heart, but learning and grasping and trying to form their own ideas, describing. Even they can't write when they start school, and they don't know how to write. They're just saying, okay, you know some of the sounds of the letters, then just write what you hear. And then we call it children scribbling. It's completely filled with spelling mistakes all over, and some of the words are drawn. Because they don't know, but it's their expression. That's one of the ideas. Another idea is, that's quite new, to introduce physical exercise or movement in teaching. So when you are repeating what is it called in English? It's a bit, I'm looking for the word. When you, in math, you're saying 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and repeating.
Repeat the number.
Yes, something like that. Why not do jumping while doing it? Or doing it while doing push-ups? Or running back and forth? Because the idea is, if you get the energy level up for children, there's more energy to the brain. And young children, they can't sit on their behinds anyway for more than 20 minutes at a time. So why not include it into the teaching? And that is in all teaching. That's quite new, and some teachers are really good at it, but some are not. Another idea is, it's also fairly new, that all children, even from the age of 6 years old, they need to know, in every activity they're doing in school, they need to know, okay, why am I doing this? What am I going to learn?
The reason.
Why am I writing this essay about this beautiful garden? What am I going to learn? What is my aim? What am I good at? And what have I got to work on? My spelling was a bit bad, or I'm not good with something, or I'm not really good with working with this other girl, so maybe that's my learning goal from this. And that's so that every child should know every day, what am I to learn? And when the children come home from school, I can, as a parent, ask them, so what did you learn in school? Not what did you do in school, but what did you learn in school? That's quite a difference. Yes, quite a difference. And that's some of the newer ideas of schooling in Denmark. The movement thing and the goal of learning. And then, and also we have in Denmark we have in schools we have the teachers, and then we have the social workers, the pedagogue.
Volunteer?
No, it's not volunteer. It's actually it's in special education that's dealing with relations and well-being and taking care of children. Not teacher, but in Denmark it's a profession saying you're a social worker in school, inside the classroom. So helping out with what is working good in groups. How is the children being and having the best day? I believe if the child has a good day, if the child is happy, she's learning more. And if a child is learning more, most children are happy. So it comes together, and it's actually very important. And so for the younger children, there's in many classrooms there's a teacher and a social worker there. And then sometimes when we have children that has difficulties with ADHD or autism or something, yes, we have more than one social worker, maybe sometimes because the diagnostic children, they're in the classroom as well. They're together with
other teachers.
You're in the classroom, and then there's 1, 2, 3 children with diagnosis, and they're still there. So that means there's more, and the movement and the aim of learning and everything that goes for everybody. Also the autistic people, autistic children. Okay. Their aim might be different, but same concept. They still have to do the same examination. Examination is another thing. We don't do very many tests compared to other countries.
In Indonesia?
No, here in Denmark we don't test the children as often as say in England, where I know the school system quite well.
When children take the test, I have read that the children will take a test in 17 or
when they're 15, yes, 16, that's the final test. But before that we have something called national test. So they're tested in reading at the age of 8 or 9, and they're tested in mathematics at the age of 10, and then at science at the age of 12, but not every year, and not every year, not every time, because the idea is that the children doesn't get any better from the test. They don't learn anything from the test at that age.
Yes.
They don't learn, and also the teachers know anyway who's good or who's bad. And so it's just a matter of keeping in good contact with the parents, because the teacher knows.
Yes.
The teacher really knows.
How about the parent involvement in the classroom activity or in the early childhood program?
The parents, the parents are not in the classroom because the parents are working.
Yes.
Everybody is working. But they have meetings 2-3 times a year, saying, okay, your child is really good with this, or has to be better here, or this particular part is really bad, or he's perfectly good academically, but he doesn't seem to have good friends. That's a concern of ours. That would a teacher say. But then the aim would also be, what can the student do, the child do, and how can the parents help? What is so? For instance, for my child, I mean, everybody in Denmark saying, okay, you have to read with your child every day. So the parents would read, sit down with a book, and have the child read, and then the parent read a little bit, the child read a little bit, and then from very early on, it's something you say as a parent, read with your children. So when the child is newborn, you read to the child later on, or it can be that. So they have these meetings with the parents, saying what can the parents do, what can the teachers do, and but then also we do it online. Say I communicate with my teacher. The teacher of one of my children would say, okay, he didn't really behave today, or he didn't do his math. What happened? He usually very good. What happened? Or he was a bully today. Please, can we talk to him? And so it's all online. There's a website for that for every school, and the parents and the teachers write to each other. And when the children are younger, usually the parents, one of the parents, the father or the mother, would follow him or her to the school, and then just pick up in the after school activity club, and then have a chat there. But then if it's more than just he didn't do really well, then we set up a meeting or we write together. So it's very dynamic. But of course there's parents that think, it's too much, I can't do, it's too much. Or there's parents saying, okay, I don't hear anything. I mean, that is too little. Yeah. And for some parents, it's really difficult to follow what's going in the school, because I mean, they really have problems in the family, problems in the family, or say the parents doesn't speak Danish. There's a lot of people in Denmark who doesn't speak very good Danish. How do you do that when the teachers doesn't speak Indonesian? Or because there's many different ethnic groups in Denmark, and there's people from all over the world, like here. But that's a problem when the teacher. Language is always a problem, and the language, the parent-teachers meetings, we always have an interpreter there. If they don't speak the language in common, they would ask an interpreter to come to translate because it's necessary sometimes. Yeah. So yeah, we do that because it's important stuff. It's the children's education. It's important.
Okay, the next question is what about the teacher qualification in preschool in Denmark? Is must graduate from master degree or can graduate from bachelor degree?
A bachelor degree. The teachers have a bachelor degree teaching, and then some of them, of course, get a master's degree in something. But the general teacher is a bachelor degree, and usually teachers in Denmark would teach 2-3 subjects. When I was a teacher, I was teaching math and sports and drama. I was a drama teacher. And I have also been teaching Danish literature as well. Yeah. But more than one subject.
And then I think it is the last question.
Yeah.
How about the using technology, especially gadget for children? Are the children permit to use gadget, handphone, smartphone?
Smartphones or iPads or teachers would definitely work with smartphones, iPads, computers, robot technology, whatever technology that they can get a hand of. But of course, sometimes when the children are 13, 14, 12, they would say to the children, okay, we use the smartphones in the classroom for this activity where we're going to learn this or whatever, but then put it in your pockets after that, so you don't have the smartphones in front of you, because it's difficult for a 12 years old boy to have friends when there's a phone.
Yes.
And it's difficult. It's very difficult for a 12 years old boy to even talk to the girls at the age of 12 because they're so shy. so sometimes they would say, okay, pack away your smartphones, but take it up when we do math or when we do whatever. And it's one of the things that some teachers are really good at, including technology in the classroom, and then some has a difficulty, because they didn't grow up with it, or older teachers or something, but that's one of the things that they have to implement technology, the newest technology. But some areas, some schools, you can expect all the children to have a smartphone that's working really well, and then some schools where there's not so much money, or there's a problem in the family or something, then of course there's children who doesn't have smartphones or latest technologies. For instance, my two older children at 18 and 14, they have one, but my youngest one at 8, she doesn't have a phone yet. It's too early. She doesn't need a phone. But when they are working with computers or iPhones, or they borrow, they have smartphones in the school as a box.
Yes.
They bring them into the classroom, and she's not allowed to take her iPad to school. She's not. She'll break it, drop the bag, or so she's not allowed to bring it to school yet. She's not big enough. I don't want her to break her iPad in school. Yeah. Did I say it's also it's a quality that we have public schools in Denmark, which most of the children goes to everybody. And then there's private schools. Private schools are mostly for people that believe in a certain religion. There would be a Jewish school, or there would be a Muslim school, or say a Catholic school or something. But the public school, that is for everybody. I mean, everybody goes to the public school, and it's for free. You don't have to pay, and it's free to go to school, and you can't even. It's completely free, and it's free all through high school and university as well. University are free.
Free?
Yeah. All university are free, and when you are more than 18, you get a student salary. So you're a student at the university, teachers college, whatever, and then you get a salary for being a student. It's not much. I mean, you can have a very cheap, very small apartment, and you can survive. But your parents doesn't have to pay, and So and the philosophy of this is that it doesn't have to be your parents' wealth can't tell if you're the best teachers that we can get, because Denmark cannot take anything from the ground. We don't have any natural resources whatsoever, nothing. So we only have our brains. So we have to have the best brains, whatever the best brains background is. So that's why, but we also pay a lot of taxes.
Hello guys, I think it's enough for today, and I hope the information can be benefit for us. And I'm so sorry if my English skill is very poor because I still study English. And don't forget to subscribe, share, and like my video. And finally, thank you for watching my video, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye bye.